Get in, chop.
I'm a bit self-aware. Sometimes it's fucked up, but life is gonna lie. So I ain't gonna slow up. I'm on a mission to change the face of mental health. Kicking knowledge to my people, cause you know that health is wealth. It's your lucky day, cause you tuned into the greatest. Out here striving to survive. Sometimes we fake it till we make it. If your mental health is slipping, then please don't touch that dial.
Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Trudy LPC, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Self-Aware and After podcast. I am really excited, again, as always, to talk to this new person. I was able to meet her through one of my cousins a couple of years ago through social media, and my cousin wanted her to be able to come on the show, and we are just now being able to make that happen about 2 years later. I'm really excited to learn about her and really just to be able to dive into the unique person that she is. Her name is Meiqua Ware. She is a real estate agent as well as the owner of multiple small businesses, and I'll let her tell you about what she does in those businesses as well. She's also a podcast host. She's going to be telling you about the new podcast that she's going to be launching, as well as her old podcast. And she is a self-proclaimed hood therapist, and I really want to dive into that and learn a little bit more about that part of her journey. So without further ado, please welcome to the Self-Aware and After podcast, Meiqua Ware. Hey, Meiqua, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. Look, finally, you said a couple years. It's actually been a couple years. It's good to actually finally do this.
Yeah,
finally do this. It's good to finally do this. So I'm glad to be here. I am glad to be. I think now, even though we did a couple years ago, it's probably a better time for me as far as my journey, because I got a lot more to talk about right now. So
gotcha. Girl, the way life and we all got a lot going on in life.
Yes, a lot. A lot.
So, as we are formally meeting outside of the realm of social media, can we just go ahead and dive in and help you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Of course, my name is Meiqua Ware. Everybody, I go by Meek No Mill. That's my alias online, where I use everything to kind of share my personal journey without being up under my actual government name, only mainly because of my profession. I am a real estate agent. I do have a day job as well, but I'm a real estate agent, and I actually work in the medical field as well, but not on the side of doctors. I work on the back end with all the billing and the coding. So I do that. I've been doing that off and on for 20 years. I'm actually born and raised in Atlanta. I live I'm born and raised right here. Most people say Atlanta, they're born in the outskirts. No, I grew up right down the street from Little 5 Points.
Okay.
I grew up in Zone 6. As people like to say, if you from the hood, you know what Zone 6 is. So that's where I'm from. So I'm actually from Atlanta. I did have a couple small businesses. I have a t-shirt company, crafting business. I do a little things on the side with my sisters because we like to bake and stuff like that. I've known to do it for them, but a lot of people actually pay me to bake stuff. I don't necessarily like it, but it makes me money. It's something my grandma passed down to me that I didn't realize, but none of my family is like, well, how can you do that? How can you do that? I guess my grandma, she was the baker for the family, so I guess she passed it to me. So yeah, I'm just out here in these streets, just single and 40 plus, still trying to figure out my life,
Gotcha.
And one of my podcasts that I had, I think we're still going to relaunch that one, but I'm actually going to relaunch my own solo podcast. My old podcast was And Another Thing. And basically, the name derived from us. You know how we be like, and another thing, like when you're in an argument with somebody, you be like, and another thing. So that's where that came from. But my new podcast, I'm actually planning on launching it on my birthday, which is July the 6th. It's going to be my solo podcast. So I'm just going to share a little bit more about myself and my journey, my personal journey, just me, and having guests on to come on, just like how you have me on right now. So hopefully we can collab later. But my birthday, July 6th, so I plan on relaunching it then.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's been a long time coming. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. And definitely happy to be there when you launch or shortly after. Would love to be a guest. Would love to come on and talk with you because, today it's about you and learning about you. But I definitely am always about supporting other people, especially Black people. I'm like Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everybody Black, and I want to see everybody Black thrive. So that
Same here.
Gotcha. So how did we get into the business part of what you do? Have you always wanted to own your own businesses, or what was that journey, part of your journey like?
I've always wanted to own my own business because I literally hate working for people. And I do. And I'm one of those people, I'm a job hopper. As soon as I'm happy, I'm gone. Most people stay in their jobs for years and years and they complain. When I get unhappy, I go. So it's like, if I'm not happy, I go. I swear my resume is probably longer than Peachtree Street because I literally like every 2 years I'm somewhere else. So, but that's the reason why. It's like I've never felt comfortable at jobs. I've never been at a job that I feel like it was happy or either I consider like a place I wanted to stay. It was like I was literally passing through. So I just recently went back to work after being not working for anybody for like 5 years. So imagine the culture shock I'm having right now.
Yeah.
So I from 2019, my last job I had, like I said, I've been in the medical billing field, so medical billing for the ever. And I actually was working a job back in 2019. And I literally one day I just decided this ain't working. And I walked out the door. I clocked out at lunch. I left. I did not come back.
Not on lunch.
I did. I went out for lunch and I just didn't go back. I was like, I'm over it. I had been complaining about it to my sister and I was like, you know what? She's like, well, whenever you're ready to make that move, you'll make it. And I swear that day, I'll never forget it. It was March the 4th, 2019. I was a week out from going to Puerto Rico with my family for the spring break trip and everything. I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I just left. I clocked out and I called my sister when I got in the car. I was like, girl, I'm going. Okay. And I stayed off of work all the way through the pandemic, and of course the pandemic hit right after that. I'm like, Lord, what I just did to the pandemic. But it's like I went from that point, I was just doing like little odd jobs, like delivery jobs. I actually was doing Amazon Flex, stuff like that. I was making more money doing that anyway than sitting at my desk. So that's one of the reasons I was like, I don't even really need it. And then it was like crazy to me that I was at so much peace doing something that was out of the ordinary for me than sitting at a desk billing and dealing with people money all day. And I was like, who would have thought I would have been like at a peaceful place doing something totally opposite that was so out of my element? Yeah. But I was. And I was making more money. So it was weird, but it was a weird space I was in, but I just was tired. So that's what kind of made me go. I just took that leap that day and I left. But I ended up coming back to work. You know, things get rough. Yeah. I am in real estate, so it's up and down. So I'm not going to be outside. So I had to get a job because the market's been crazy. Okay. I'm still in it. I just do it part-time now. Like I took a year off last year. I didn't even bother with it all. Didn't promote it. Didn't talk to nobody. Didn't try to get no clients, nothing for like a year, just to kind of get myself back on track. Get the savings back on track. Because when you deplete them funds, you know how it is. Deplete them funds. So I took a year. So now this year, I just finally started back coming back and promote myself and put myself out there and really trying to get like clients and stuff like that. Because I just took a year off. I needed it for myself. I needed it mentally. I needed to regroup. I needed all kind of like things to do to even get myself prepared to go back out there and deal with that type of world. I love it. It's just something that I've always loved. Real estate is something I've always loved. Even when I was younger, looking at houses and stuff like that. If I see a new community come up, me and my sister should just drive up there, just go sit in the model home and dream and just be like, oh my God, when I'm out, something like this. So it's just something that I've always been a part of. So that's what made me want to go into it. And as far as the other businesses, they just kind of came along with just in between. As far as like things I started like crafting, I like the craft. It's something that suits me. So I kind of just learned how to make t-shirts and all kind of little knick-knack stuff. And my sister was doing it too. So she kind of helped me, showed me how to do some things. And it was kind of like soothing for me. Like I like DIY projects and stuff. Because when I'm ever in like a little weird space, I use those things to kind of like, it's pastime to just make me escape when I can't get to the beach.
Gotcha. The beach, my favorite place. So,
oh God, it's my favorite place.
You mentioned
I tell everybody that's my favorite place.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
We all need to escape. And, you know, you've kind of, sounds like you were able to make some choices for yourself in choosing your own mental health to even leave that job in 2019 to just kind of go and figure it out. And I think that a lot of times we have a lot of fear around taking those next steps for ourselves. I think the only job I've ever walked out on was when I was in my 20s. And I was working at this group home in Latonia on Panola Road. And I showed up that Sunday because I was staying over with the kids from like Sunday to Thursday. Then I would go home Friday, Saturday and come back Sunday. And I worked for this lady. I'll never forget. She was the meanest person that you would ever meet. She was so mean to them kids. I don't know how they let her get a group home, but I came in one Sunday and she was on one. And I was like, you know what? Never mind. When I started, I called my mom. I was like, look, I ain't gonna have the rent money. Can you spot me until I can get another job in a couple of weeks? Right. And she was like, yeah, if you weren't happy, just go ahead and quit. And I was like, I'm gonna holler at y'all. And I was so happy to get up out of there and leave that place because it was toxic. But so you have to know when it's time to step away. And I think that so much of corporate America, we get stuck in what we do. But you've been able to pave your own way. And so I really, really appreciate that part of your journey. What were some of the major challenges you kind of had starting up your own businesses?
Getting clients, getting customers, marketing, really putting yourself out there and showing the different part, like how you're different. Because there's so many businesses out there, so many real estate agents out there, so many t-shirt companies out there, so many people out here do bake cakes and do crafting. So it's like just really marketing myself and putting myself out there to make people want to actually shop with me as well. Like they always say, it's 100 breads on a bread aisle, but everybody has. You're gonna pick one of them. You have your favorite brand. But if their brand ain't there, you still got another brand. So it's like just really putting myself out there and trying to get clients and understanding too in the beginning, like in business, you're not going to make money immediately. That's the one thing I think a lot of people, it makes them quit. They expect to make instant money. You may not see any money for 3-4 years. So I feel like it's important for people to understand that they have to actually just still keep some type of income coming. In my case, I don't have a husband or boyfriend, sugar daddies, nothing. So it's like I have to fund everything myself.
Okay.
When it comes to my bills. So it's like I couldn't depend on my business at first to make me money. So I had to do something else. So again, like I said, I was delivering packages. I was doing Instacart, Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all those places to make sure I had my bills paid while I try to build myself up and then try to make extra money so I can actually use it to market and get ad space, go to vending events, go to networking events and stuff in between. So it's like, you have to really be willing to put in the work and understand that it's not going to always generate revenue immediately. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And they feel like, okay, I'm going to make money as soon as I put my stuff out here. And it makes people quit. It makes them feel like they fail. It's not necessarily that you fail. You just got to give it some time. Everything takes nurturing.
Okay. I feel attacked. But no.
Oh my God. Don't feel attacked. Don't feel attacked.
Girl, listen, I'll be like, fuck this business. I don't want to do this shit. I don't with her. And not the counseling piece, because that's always going to be a need for a therapist. Like, I don't have to really advertise what I do for that. Like, clients come or whatever. That part is fine. It's the other stuff that's just like, do I really want to keep doing this or is it whatever? But even this podcast is a testament to it or whatever, because it takes time to build what you're trying to build. And it's easy. A lot of podcasts don't make it past like 10 episodes because because they don't have what they're looking for and they look at other things. So you have to really focus at what's on your plate. So I was joking saying I felt hit because I think that there's just the struggle of being a business person when you know, like, I want this and I want to push for myself, but at the same time, I'm not getting the support that I need. And that can be challenging, like balancing business, balancing mental health and life. And because the bills still got to be paid. So,
unfortunately. But that's the thing too. I tell people, it's like, that took some growing for me as well, as far as business, because again, I felt like, okay, I can make money doing this, something I love. Then I don't need this, I don't need this job. I don't need that. But it took me some time to actually learn and understand that you're not going to always make money immediately. I mean, it's just, some people seem like they come out of nowhere and they make money immediately, but you don't know on the back end, they've been grinding 2-3 years, 4 or 5 years before you even got their big hit. So it's like, if you go into it expecting immediate money, I feel like that's the thing that makes people just quit. Right. Especially if they don't have nobody backing them up. It's to keep the bills paid while they're trying to build. Keep the bills paid while you're trying to build. Yeah. So, and then understanding too that everything takes nurturing. Like it literally takes nurturing for it. You have to build it. Like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. It literally is just that. Rome wasn't built in a day. Understanding that it's okay starting small. And the biggest thing I think that bothers people a lot is they don't get support from their family and their friends. And I'm like, that right there that was my biggest lesson, is to not even look for that. Because the thing is, when you started your business, did you really have those people in mind? You saw a need for the community and you really wanted to service that need for the community. That's what a business is. It's like, even Amazon, they saw a need for the community. Yeah. He met the needs of the community. So it's like, I feel like if people start focusing on their family and friends, that they will make it as well. Because and don't even share your business with your family and friends. Just let them see it when it blow up. Because it's like, a lot of times people gonna talk against, oh, you can't do it. But like I always tell people too, the place you're working for is a business.
Right.
So that person started that business from nothing. Most people started from nothing. It don't just come out of nowhere. It's just not like, oh, wow, here's Walmart, and it just landed here on Plymouth Rock. And then it was just up running and everybody knew about it. It's like they started with one store.
Yeah.
Amazon started in their garage. So it's like when people understand that these big companies that we're seeing before us right now, they started somewhere too.
Yeah.
So it's like your target market is not your family and friends. And when I think people understand that, they'll understand how their business can actually run. When I started my business, I didn't think, I want to make shirts for my family and friends. Or, I want to sell a house to just my family and friends. I thought I want to sell a house to whoever really need a house. I want to speak buyers who feel like they can't get a house to let them know it's very possible for you as well. It's not just something that's out of your reach. So when I started real estate, that was my thing. It's like, because when I first bought my first house, I didn't feel like I could get a house when I did. But the lady I had, she was very patient with me. She wasn't worried about the fact that my house was only $83,000. The first one I got. She was like very nurturing to me. She took time with me. She helped me out with all kind of stuff. She was very patient. So that's what kind of made me, when I got into real estate, that's how I wanted to be. I wanted to be there for the people who didn't feel like they could do it. Because when I first got my first house, I didn't feel like I could get a house making $11 an hour and working in medical billing $11 an hour. But I did, but it was because of that lady and her passion that she had, because she was like, I could focus on a lot of people who have more money and stuff. She was like, but it's more people out there who feel like they can't get it.
Yeah.
That she was ready to like reach for and like say, it's can happen for you too. You may not be able to get the biggest house on the block, but you can start somewhere. So
yeah, I love that. My real estate agent, she was a sweet lady, but but I'm grateful because my credit was shit when I got in this house. It was really horrible, and it was less than your house. It was like 76, and this was when the market had really went down, and it was a blessing. And I'm still in this same house because you're not gonna get no more houses. You're not gonna get another 4-bedroom house for $76,000.
Well, where the pile of dirt? You can't get a pile of dirt for that.
You're not gonna get it. Some people like you tired. You don't want to upgrade. Hell no, 76.
Upgraded bills too. So
right, baby, we'll remodel the hell out of this house before I go.
Baby, we'll remodel it. We'll extend it. We'll add on. We'll do whatever we gotta do. But we're gonna be right here.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to kind of shift gears a little bit because you kind of mentioned some stuff earlier about this whole dating thing in your 40s. And I know like it's a lot more Black women in our 40s that are dealing with like, either a piece of a man or half of a man or just something and not really choosing ourselves. So I want to know a little bit more about what your dating journey looks like right now.
Okay, so the last time I wouldn't even call it dating, but I was in a situationship a few years ago. And once I decided to get out of that, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to put myself first. Because for one, I feel like it shouldn't have happened, but it happened for a reason because it taught me some things about myself. It taught me, for one, I was still settling. That's the first thing I felt like it taught me, that I was still settling. And it also taught me that I really needed to spend a little more time by myself, healing. And get into a better space to where I wouldn't tell a fuck again. So, and when I was 40, I broke it off. My 40th birthday, I broke it off with him. That was like almost 4 years ago. I'll be 44 on my upcoming birthday. And I have been celibate since then. And it's like, it has been such an eye-opening thing to me. It has been something that really has like, to me, it's more far past than just not having sex. It's one thing to be by yourself, but it's another thing to be by yourself and actually working on yourself. So it's like, last time I was kind of single, I don't feel like I did no work. I was just single and celibate by default because I just literally was single with celibate. I was single, so I wouldn't have sex. But this time around, it's like, I've actually been doing the work. I actually started therapy. I've actually started paying attention to like certain things about myself that I'm like, you know what? So I've started taking better care of myself, trying to lose weight and get myself in a better space mentally, like all kind of stuff. So it's like this time I'm actually doing the work. So it's like I want to date, but I don't until I feel like I get to a space to where those things that I just mentioned aren't going to be a factor, especially the settling. Yeah. So it's like, I'd rather be single than settle. And that's where I am right now.
Gotcha. Definitely can appreciate that. It's hard sometimes for people to take that step back from dating and actually focus on themselves. Because a lot of times, I'll be honest with you, I'm a serial monogamist. I've probably never not been in a relationship for longer than 6 months to a year throughout most of my life or whatever. And I think it's just because I have fucked up attachment issues and I need to be connected to someone in order to feel love. And that's my own fucked up part of my journey. But what I will say is a lot of times when people are single, or when I was single, I spent a lot of time fixating on not being in a relationship and not being desirable versus actually focusing on fixing myself. And it wasn't until the last breakup before my current relationship and marriage that I really did the work, where I went and I got with a therapist and I really started to look at those unhealed parts of myself. And it really changed me. And this is coming from someone who's been in the therapy and counseling field for over 20 years, but it took that rock bottom experience for me after a failed relationship for me to really look at myself. So I commend you for going on that journey and really being able to pour into yourself. So I want to know a little bit more, one, about what doing the work looks like for you, and how is that different from this whole, self-proclaimed hood therapist part of you. I want to know those differences between the work that you're doing versus your, hood therapist thing. Cause I just want to know, how does that look different for you?
Well, cause before I actually started really working on myself, I would use my situations to help other folks and make them laugh about it along the way. Okay. So it's like I had a way of making people laugh at my fucked upness, basically. Okay. So that was my whole thing. Is like I would tell people stories, and they probably thought it was fabricated the way the story sounded. It just to hear them, you'd be like, "Wait a minute, that shit really happened to me," Okay. But it's like I would use that instead of just. It was my therapy, really. So it's like I would use it as my therapy, talking to other people and just telling my stories and my situations and things that happened to me to just to get it out. So it was really my therapy, really. So that's why I said I'm giving them therapy. They was my therapist and they didn't really know it, but I just called myself a hood therapist because I was giving it to them like it happened. I was giving it to them straight. I wasn't sugarcoating nothing. And they was laughing and kicking along the way, but the whole time, like, this shit really happened to me. Like, y'all think it's funny, but it happened. So now it's like you were saying, seeing yourself, to me, I always felt like I looked at myself, but I didn't really see myself. Like, I look at myself, but I don't see myself for real. So, growing up, I've always felt by myself, even if I was in a house with people and stuff like that, I never really understood what that was all. So the house with people still felt myself. And the only person that ever understood what I said when I said that was my best friend. And she was like, I understand exactly what you mean. It's hard to put in words, but it's like I always felt like I was always by myself. So I feel like I've had a lot of, how you said you have attachment issues. I have a lot of detachment issues. Like, it's so easy for me to walk away from people. I would literally like, if you ain't serving me like the job, if you ain't serving me, I'm out. So it's like, I feel like I had like, damn, did you ever really love anybody? Cause you just be walking away. Like, even when I was married, my ex-husband, he was cheating and shit, but it's like, when I left. Like, he ain't seen me, heard from me, nothing. So it's like, I ghost, I get gone. So I'm like, I think that might be some type of thing, but it's like, I feel like I don't attach myself to people enough sometimes. Like, my mom and my sisters, by default, like, I love them, never can imagine life without them. But as far as like relationships, stuff like that, and that may have something to do with the fact that my dad wasn't really in my life like that. So I feel very detached sometimes when it comes to me in a relationship. Like, certain relationships, I feel kind of detached, or I don't really let myself like open up enough to where I can get that attached to where it bothers me. Or a lot of times I notice about myself too, instead of me like, before I actually leave a situation, I detach myself all the way to the point where it softens the blow a little bit to where it don't even seem like I ever gave a fuck. But, and then I literally tell people all the time, I wouldn't even get them the satisfaction to think I gave a fuck. So, but the whole time I'm literally detaching myself from it before I all the way leave. So it was like, for me, I had the last person that I was in this little situation with taught me so much about myself to the point where it's like, I was so attached to him. And that was the first time I had ever been like that. And it shouldn't even happen, but it's like, I literally was so attached to this man. I'm still attached to him in a sense to where we have our little spaces to where we talk to each other. So I'm like, I told him last time we were talking, I'm like, I've never been like this about nobody. I've always been able to walk the fuck away from people without nothing. And it's like him, I don't know if we trauma bonded or some shit, but it's like I literally can't get rid. I don't sleep with him now like that, but we talk and we talk. It just always draws out emotions in me. And I'm just like, I've never been like this about nobody. But so I had one of my friends, she's like a Reiki reader, and she read me before, and she told me that I learned how I taught myself not to feel. And I honestly believe it. And it's like now that I'm getting older, I really seeing that shit. Because even when I was in therapy, the lady was like, crying. She wanted me to do this exercise where I cry for like 5 minutes every day. I was like, lady, do you know how hard it is for me to fucking cry? So, but it's like I taught myself so much stuff, like how not to feel. So I'm very detached. And it's like I've been trying to tap into that outside of my immediate family. Because even with family, I'd be like, man, I don't fuck with them. I fuck with those who fuck with me. And that's my motto. So it's like, I fuck with those who fuck with me. I'm very detached. So it's like, I've been trying not to be so detached because I feel like it's going to help me feel better towards myself. Because even with myself, sometimes when I go through certain things, I'm like, girl, shut the fuck up. You whine about shit. Like, what you do? So it's like, I really just beat myself up a lot. So I'm trying to come out of that because I feel like, I don't know where it really comes from because in therapy, we haven't gotten like to that point, but it's like, I think I've had to be tough and strong so long. It's just like, that may have caused it as well. I don't know where it's coming from. So I'm still trying to figure that fucked up. This is about, like, I'm trying to figure that out so bad. So that's the thing now. It's like, I feel like being 43, I swear, it's like, I'm trying to figure out myself for real. And I think that's the reason why what separates. It's like, even though I share with people the crazy shit that I went through, the difference now is I'm actually trying to see myself.
Yeah.
For like all this stuff. Yeah. So it's like, I look at myself, but I'm really trying to see myself right now. So I think that's the difference.
Okay.
And my journey now. It's like, I'm really trying to see who in the fuck are you? Like,
yeah.
Who are you for real? Because sometimes I feel like we mask so much stuff and we hide so much stuff, especially me personally. Like, I mask so much shit. Like, I could be going through hell and you would never know it because I mask it so well. And I make people laugh all the time, even just telling them my bullshit. But it's like, now I just don't even want to do that. I just want to like I told my friend, I just want to be happy and healthy. And that's it. Like right now, that's what I want to be happy. I want to get to my happy space. My true happy space, not the happy face that I put on and the mask that I wear, but I want to get to that true happiness. Like, so that's the difference now. It's like I'm trying to find it, and I don't need anybody that I feel in my life that's going to make me happy. I want me to be happy solely within my space by myself first.
Yeah, gotcha. That is such a fucking beautiful journey that you went on, just in really being able to face yourself, because that's hard for us to do. Like, we can put on for social media, we can put on for our friends, but being able to truly tap into how we feel and assess that, because you've taught yourself. If I could teach myself to completely just not give a fuck, I think I would get to my happy place. But I care too damn much because of my attachment. Like my obviously is anxious attachment. It sounds like you probably have avoidant attachment. And the therapist in me is like, you mentioned something about your dad, so maybe it started there. But I do want to kind of know a little bit more about that part of you, because you mentioned in the pre-show kind of thing that like some of childhood stuff that maybe has impacted you.
Yeah, my dad wasn't really a part of my life. We just really recently got close. I want to say maybe over the last 5 or 6 years. And it was because of me, really. I mean, I really fought for it more than anything because I'm one of those people, I guess I feel like I have a deep attachment to my parents for whatever reason. And it's like, no matter what they do, I always still try to be that child that just like, okay, I still love my parents. I want to go through the wave or whatever. But me and my mom, we don't have like, me and my mom, we're fine. But me and my dad, we've always had like, this back and forth, bickering, bittering, like screaming matches, cuss each other out. I'm talking about like, you think we two people on the street. But I always felt like I didn't want to have something happen to either me or him. And then we'd be like, oh, I wish I could have, should have, would have. So I'm one of those people. Like if it's somebody that I feel like it held a special place in my life, especially like somebody, especially as a parent, I didn't want to ever think anything to happen to him or me. And then either one of us was standing over somebody talking about what we wish we could have did.
Right.
So I feel like I want to give my honest effort. But it's like when I turned 30, I got to a point, I was like, you know what? This shit I'm fine. I don't give a fuck. I done did what I can do. If it don't work, fine. But then like a few years later, we was cool. And then we got back bickering again. So I cut it off again. And then one day I just had him in like a, what they called it, intervention with my mom. And I invited my sister to my house, stuff like that too. Because I just wanted to just kill it or just be like, just leave me the fuck alone or we gonna be cool or not. Like I just wanted to end it. So I had him to come to my house and had my sister to come. One of my sisters didn't show, but the other did. She brought her family and stuff. And I really kind of just want all three of us to come so they can have an opportunity to like, tell them how they feel with my mom here to kind of mediate it so it wouldn't be so much friction. Mm-hmm. But they end up, one of my sisters didn't come. The other one, she came, but she left. So it was just me, my mom, my dad. Mm-hmm. So I finally just let him know, like, look, I ain't mad at you. I ain't hate you or nothing like that. I never hated you. It's just, I feel like you was just, in a space to where you had so much guilt that you was taking it out on me and my sisters. And I'm like, hell, we was the innocent bystanders. Like, just put it out there. My dad, he was, it was the 80s. We was born in the 80s. You know how the 80s was, the era we were in. So it's like my daddy was dealing with that for years and years and years. So it's like he missed a lot of our life. And I told him, I said, I feel like you just got a lot of guilt you're carrying, but you spewed it out on the people that was the innocent bystanders. Like, we didn't ask for this shit. And I was telling him, I said, I know you didn't, think that was going to fuck your life up this long. I know nobody ever does anything, think, oh, let me go ahead and just fuck my life up, So I was one of those people, I kind of understood a lot of that, but I also didn't understand why he seemed like he was so angry with us, and so he finally admitted that it was like, he was guilty because he wasn't there. And, he was telling me, he was like, I just, I wasn't there for y'all, just anywhere. I'm like, okay, but we not worried about yesterday. We can't get it back. I can't get back the last 10 minutes I've been talking about this shit. Like,
right.
I'm one of the people I like to try to just move forward. So it's like, I can't even get the last 5 minutes, back. So it's like, you can't go back. So let's go forward. And ever since then, we kind of been cool, but because he don't know a lot about me. And it's crazy because I learned so much about him. It's like, I'm 43, he's 63. And it's like, but I don't know nothing about him. For real. He's been over there so long. He lives in Alabama now because he got married. He moved down there. But it's like, I'm learning so much about him and he learned so much about me because we haven't been in each other's face, long enough to actually be cordial enough to learn certain things. And then it's like, so I feel like all of that and me having to like really separate myself so much from my dad and kind of like step outside of myself a lot too to even deal with him sometimes kind of maybe a reason why I'm so detached when it comes to relationships and men, as far as like, if I feel like they're going to do something or if I see bullshit brewing, like I might be letting my little window down just a little bit. And as soon as I see the bullshit brewing, it's going back up. And I'm like, after that, you can't get back in. I'm like a China wall. Like you can't get back, you can't get through it. So I think that's what a lot of it came because it's like dealing with my dad. I tell everybody, and it may sound crazy. I don't argue with my dad more than I don't ever with any man. I don't even fucking like. I don't argue with my dad so much. I'm talking about is it fuck you? Literally, I don't even been in relationships. Not even that type of argument. But the relationship was, it was just something I was trying to repair. Like that's the only relationship I ever fought the hardest to repair was the one with my dad. And my sisters, it's three of us and like, they're not there, but they don't understand why I did the things I did, but it was for my own personal reason because I don't like to live in regret. I didn't want anything to happen to him. And then I'd be like, damn, I wish I could have fixed it. So I don't like to live when it comes to people, like I don't like to live that way. So I think that has a lot to do with it as far as me, because I had to learn how to separate. I had to learn how to detach myself from feeling so much, even talking to him, because my dad was one of the people. I told my therapist the same thing. My dad was one of the people. I'm talking about he's an emotional man. My dad has always been an emotional man. He would cry to drop a pet. And I used to be looking at him cross-eyed. What the fuck you crying for? We the kids. What you crying for? And so in that instance, I think thinking back, going to therapy, I really think that's the reason why I'm like that. Like I'm just like real detached. Because I'm like, when I used to see him crying, then next thing you know, he cussing me out. I'm like, the fuck? What you crying for then? You gonna see it cuss me out? You crying? So it's like, I used to literally be like, so tears to me and crying to me just never felt like something I should be doing. Like it just never felt, because I never felt like it was genuine from him. So I'm just like, what the fuck people around here crying crocodile tears for? But so it's like, I think that's where it came from, the detachment. Like I learned how to detach myself then. Growing up, I guess I'm going through therapy and kind of showing me. I told the lady I feel like a fucking onion. I'm peeling back the layers. It's like every time I turn around, I'm learning something new. Like, damn, I mean, walk around this all the time. You know me, but it just makes me move a little different now because I'm a little more careful now about how I speak to the people that I care, well, my dad in particular, because my sister and my mom always careful about what I say. But now I kind of take the time to step back, even with my dad, and try to treat him like, you know, he ain't a man on the street, and just be a little more careful about how we talk to stuff. So we've been cool for the last, I want to say 5-6 years. It's been no like friction, because we would go years out talking to each other. So it's cool. Like my sister, they're not there where I am, but like I said, I had my own reasons. So, but we're really good now, and it's pretty interesting the fact that we learned so much about each other in all this time that went by. My dad don't know a lot about me, but I don't think he knows about me as I'm quick temper like him. But I don't even cool down on that. My dad is real quick temper, and I do got that. I got a bad from him, but I'm either hot or cold. Like either I fuck with you or I don't. So if I don't, you gonna do it. But it's like I've been a little bit better about it, you know, as I'm getting older, just because I don't even give people that time. I'm like, go to hell. Like, and then my house like, girl, go to hell. But go to hell. And I'm done with it. Like, I'm not going to argue to them. So that part has changed a little bit about me. But yeah, it's interesting just being this old and learning your stuff. And then my dad learned stuff about me as well. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Obviously there's a lot of tumultuous stuff throughout the relationship, but I think it's a beautiful thing that, you know, you chose. Like, I don't want to have regrets. And that is hard sometimes for people to do, because I mean, a lot of people do struggle with being able to cut their parents off, and, you know, and some people, they can cut them off at the drop of a hat, because I think it's important for us to have boundaries, but you also were able to kind of incorporate balance into it. And so I think that that's amazing. And your journey in therapy is also amazing, because it's, you know, it takes a lot to do the work. And I'm glad to hear that you are doing the work for yourself.
It takes a lot. Yeah. I had to take a break from it for a while, because it was just, to me, it was a bit much. I was like, look, I need a break right now, because I got to process some of this and come back, because it was a lot. It's like, and then, like I said, she's trying to get me to be emotional. Like she's trying, and I'm a Cancer, and people, I was like, oh, y'all babies. Like, I don't know where they come from. So,
I was thinking that earlier. I was like, damn, she said July the 6th, and she a Cancer, and she on cry. And like, what the hell?
And everybody said, I'm like, where did they get this from? Like, I just be trying to figure out where they get it from. But but it's my life. Like I said, life deals people different cards, and you respond to stuff differently. Yeah. Different traumas. And I just realized, and like I was telling my friend, because she had started therapy before I did, and I was like, I didn't even connect trauma with half the shit that I went through. It was just, okay, you know, that's life. And we don't associate traumas with certain things. I didn't feel like it was trauma. I just thought it was life. Like, okay, I'm going through something. But learning that shit was traumatic, I'm like, God damn. Yeah. I never thought it was trauma. Like, I just thought trauma was something totally different than what some of the stuff that I'm hearing now that was traumatic for me. Yeah. I'm just like,
right. Yeah. And that's because trauma was initially conceptualized in the like context of soldiers returning back from war. When we think about like PTSD and, you know, shell shock and that particular thing, that was the initial like conceptualization of it. But, you know, now there's more of a like layer or eyes on complex PTSD, which is a lot of the trauma that we experience as Black people. Like, we go through shit, intergenerational shit that, you know, going back to slavery, like a lot of what we experience in our Black community is traumatic. And it hasn't had that lens of trauma because, one, we didn't get help for so long. Black people didn't want to go therapy. And two, what we went through, it was usually labeled as something else. It was just life. And that's cool.
Yeah, it was normal. It was deemed as normal for us.
Yeah, but it's not fucking normal. Like, it's not
and that's
okay.
The thing. I was like, damn, that's trauma. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, but that was normal. That's life. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, the way I got my ass beat in the 80s, that was trauma. I can't sleep to this damn day without being afraid that some shit gonna wake me up, because I used to get my ass beat. That was trauma. And, you know, our parents sometimes don't want to recognize that. They don't want to look at the things that they did, because it's hard to see like, oh, I caused this. And I think a part of it is the lack of accountability. And it's fine. Like, we survived shit. We living life. We doing life. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to attend to those unhealed parts of us, because trauma is real, for sure.
It is. I'm learning, because even it was like, speaking of sleeping, like I was telling the lady, I was like, I literally still wake up in the middle of the night. Like I wake up in the night, not because my mom wasn't she wasn't a big disciplinarian person, so to speak. She didn't want to whoop us like that. She did, but she didn't want to. But it's like the stuff that used to go on, like just people coming to the house and just bothering her and stuff like that when she was trying to get away from the environment. I still wake up now in the middle of the night because I'll hear her call my name in the middle of the night. It's so weird. Like I'll hear my mama just say my name and I'll just jump up. Like I'm in the house by myself. I live by myself. But I didn't think about that because I was telling my therapist, I never sleep through the night. I never sleep through the night. I don't care what I cannot stay asleep. I would literally have to be dog tired. I'm talking about to come in here, crash, didn't even know I went to sleep to stay asleep the whole night. So I discovered that in therapy. Yeah. That it was trauma related. It was just the environment I was in growing up and people constantly in and out, coming and bother my mom after she moved us away from everybody. Everybody was still, out there in the streets doing anything, Yeah. So it's like my mom, she was the only sane person that I knew, in the situation. And they all came to her and I'm just like, and so I would just wake up all the time because I was trying to make sure my mama was good. Yeah. And sometimes I would just hear her call my name. And I'm like, this shit is crazy. I learned it in therapy that the lady was like, you have to know that your mom is okay because I was so used to protecting my mom all the time. Right. Anytime she moved, I'm moving. She moved, I'm popping up. Like I'm going to make sure she good. I'm woke. I'm standing in the doorway of my room, watching out for her to make sure she good. So it's like I literally grew up just thinking I was always in protection mode of my mom, and the lady brought me out in therapy. I'm like, yeah, I just thought I was looking after my mom. I ain't know. That's why my sleep so broken, so fixed to sleep. Like even now, I told my mom I would hear her name. I would hear her call my name. I live in my house by myself. I've been living here 8 years by myself. Every now and then, I would hear my mom say Meiqua, and I would pop out my sleep. And a lot of times, it ended up being like some weird shit going on around me in my neighborhood. That happened. And I don't know if it's like her voice just warning me to wake up or something, but it's weird. Like I can't sleep through the night, but it came from that. And I didn't realize until I was in therapy that shit derived from that because I cannot sleep. I sleep 4 hours and I'm up. Like, and I'm looking around. I just can't stay asleep. I don't sleep with my I have my TV on all night. I can't sleep in the dark. Never realized it was trauma related. I'm just like,
I got you. Yeah, it the body keeps the score, and that's how trauma works. It is just deeply embedded in us, and our psyche remembers, even if we don't remember at a conscious level. Like it's in there. Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah. So you done kind of already dove into some of this, but I'm sure you probably got a little bit more to relate to when it comes to this.
Oh, Lord.
How do you personally identify with the idea of being self-aware and fucked up?
Really, I really just have started paying a lot more attention to how I respond to stuff. And some things, like I told my therapist, I'm going to keep because I just feel like that's a part of me and I'm always going to be that way. I'm never going to let nobody play in my face. So, if you come with the bullshit, I'm bullshit 2.0. Okay. So some of those things I don't want to do, but it's like the other part, I just really have started really paying attention to my personal triggers. Certain things that I feel like trigger me that I kind of want to not let it be a trigger because I feel like those triggers they got power. Yeah. So I kind of pay attention to myself and how I respond to shit a little more. And I probably seem a lot more laid back to people now because of that. Because I really be like, why am I girl go to hell? Like to myself, like, man, fuck that. And I don't even respond to it really no more. Like I would, because I'm just like, you know what? They're trying to set me up. I'm too old, to be doing 20 to life. So I just literally just ignore a lot of shit now. Because if I feel like it triggered me, I'm like, you know what? Nah. Because that was, in the past, it might have got me on my feet ready to, But now it's just like, I feel like, if I feel like some things hold too much power, in that instance, then I kind of pay attention to it like that. Because I literally have to pay attention to myself. I literally pace myself a lot more now. So that's kind of helped me be, I know I'm fucked up, but I'm aware that I'm fucked up. And I'm not going to let you know just how fucked up I am. I'm going to just chill on that. You got it. Like, that's how I am. I always tell people I ain't never met nobody with jail time. And that's what kind of keep me a little more calm now. Okay. So
I got you.
certain things, I'm still not gonna let you do certain stuff now. But I'm just trying to be a lot more aware of them triggers because I ain't trying to play myself out the street. I just don't.
I got you. Yeah, we don't need you doing 20 to life, but none of that. So
I be telling people all the time, ain't nobody worth jail time. I stay away from people. You ain't worth the jail time, man. Let me go up here. Let me get back in my little
yeah. I got
but
you.
I pay a lot of attention to how I respond to stuff and how I move. Like I'm just trying to grow. And if it don't help me grow, I don't want it.
I gotcha. I feel you on that. I love the journey, and I really appreciate your openness with everything, because me, one of my clients the other day said, I don't know you from a can of paint. And I was like, one, you old because she's our age. But she was like, I ain't heard nobody say that shit since like
it's 19. So long, Jesus.
But you didn't know me from a can of paint, and you were so open, and I really appreciate that. You cool as hell.
I feel like it's, to me, when I be in the store and I be anywhere and people just sit down and tell me their life story, I was like, them people just need somebody to talk to. To me, it's so much easier to talk to somebody that you never really know, you never met, you probably never see again. Just get some shit off your chest. You probably can't take home and talk to the person at your house about it. So to me, I never really meet a stranger anyway. But it's like, that's how I feel like people just, it's so much easier to talk to somebody you don't know that you feel like don't even really know your true story for real. They don't know what you tell them to be true. But so it's easier to talk to other people that you never met, never know. Gotcha. That's why so many people tell you their life story sometimes. They meet you like, God damn, I shouldn't say hey to them. They really want to talk.
Oh, I be dodging that shit because if I don't be on the clock, but no. Okay. Gotcha. Well, how can people connect with you if they want to, purchase things from your business, if they want to watch your podcast, if they want to buy a home, how can they connect with you?
If they want to buy a home, I'm everywhere on social media at I Dream of Keys, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. What's the other one? Snapchat. YouTube, all the I Dream of Keys. Like I said, I got an alias online, Meek No Mill Official. So, because Meek is my nickname, and so that's why I go by everywhere. My alias Meek No Mill Official everywhere. If you want to just connect with me on a personal level, I really don't have a lot going on my personal page like that. So they probably can't. I don't even think I'm searchable. Well, now my page is open. I think I opened my page up because it wasn't even searchable at first. But
okay.
Those are the pieces. My old podcast, which if we relaunch, fine. If not, fine. But it's And Another Thing pod, I think. And another ANOTHA pod. And my new podcast is gonna be Kiki with Meek. So I haven't set up all my socials for that just yet, but that's what it's gonna be, Kiki. I think I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna spell the Kiki part because it's kind of like coming over here and laughing with me. But okay, I was like either K-I-K-I or K-E. I don't know. I had asked one of my friends the other day and he said he liked the K-I-K-I part better. So we'll see. But I plan on launching on my birthday, so we'll have it out there. And I'll start marketing it. I'm not selling shirts no more. So I don't know if I'm gonna bring it back or not. I'm not selling shirts no more. I kind of just took a break from it. I had too much going on. Gotcha. Can't do too much at one time sometimes, especially now. I'm actually working a job, so gotta cut back on some things.
I gotcha. Well, I so appreciate your time, guys. Please make sure that you connect with Meiqua. The information of how you can connect with her will be in the description of this episode. Also, be sure to follow me, Tree the LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Tree the LPC. Until next time, be safe, be well, and make sure that you take care of your mental health.